So the first candle which we'll be discussing here is the hammer. Now, what hammer actually tells us is that there is rejection of prices, right? Now, if you just look at this hammer, what we get here is we see that there is rejection of lower prices, right? Because wick tell us that the lower wick actually tells us this is the lowest price till which the stock went to, and if a wick is up above the candle, it is called the upper wick or the upper shadow. It tells us that this is the highest price till which a stock went to. Now, whenever we see that this the stock actually came down till here at this point, let us assume that this is 100 rupees and this is 90 rupees. Now, as the stock came down to 90, what happened here is that it triggered everyone's mind that okay, this is very cheap, let me buy. Now, like this, everyone thinks that okay, this is available for very cheap, let us buy. Now, once everyone thinks that it is available for very cheap, now since everyone buys here, now there are more buyers as compared to sellers, right? Because everyone thinks that there is already huge selling. Now let us buy, it is very cheap. Now, once everyone starts buying, this low which it had formed gets vanished. Sorry, yeah, the price which is here gets vanished and it moves upwards. So what this actually tells us is that there are more buyers as compared to sellers. So this is a bullish signal, and the color of the candle does not matter here. Let it be green or red. So either bullish or bearish, it does not matter. What matters here is that the body should be smaller than the shadow or the wick. So the wick here has to be twice or thrice the size of the body. So if this is for 2 rupees, then this has to be around 4 rupees or 6 rupees. Only then it can be called a hammer, because the the wick here is longer as compared to the body, and it tells us that there is rejection of lower prices, right? And once you know that people are not accepting the cheap price, it means that people are ready to pay more, and this calls us for a long trade or a bullish trend, right? And one more thing here is that whenever you see a hammer, it always appears in the lower in a downtrend, because let us imagine that it is a downtrend market and suddenly you spot a hammer here. So what it actually tells us is that in a downtrend market, the price actually tried to push downwards, or the sellers pushed it so down, but then it could not retain this low level, and people started pushing it upwards. Now we know that once everyone started becoming bullish, or people are buying here, now from here the stock may go upwards, right? So this is how you know that this calls us for a bullish reversal, and from here we can go bullish or we can go long with the stock. Now, you must be wondering what is the time frame which we can keep. Now, this works in every time, because what it is basically is made up of is that what are the number of sellers and what are the number of buyers. Now, you'll find buyers and sellers in every time frame, be it 1 minute, be it 15 minutes. But then, I would say that if you are a positional trader or a swing trader, that means you want to take a stock today, and then you wish to wait for the stock to go upwards, like for a week or a month, and then you sell it off at a higher price. Now that time it can be very useful, because it tells us that throughout the day there were more buyers as compared to sellers. So if you are a swing trader, you can keep it for 1 day chart, and you can see that okay, what is the movement, or who is more powerful in the market on that particular day. And in a day when you find this, you will see from here the stock goes upwards. Okay, and you can also keep it for 15 minutes to check that if there is rejection of lower prices. From here the stock may move upwards. Okay, so this is how it is. We so every candlestick actually tells us a story, and we need to decode it, that who are more powerful in the market. That means either buyers or sellers, and accordingly we can take a trade. Now, this thing you need to keep in mind, that a hammer is more powerful, or it gives us more better indication whenever it is in a downtrend market, because in a downtrend market we are seeing that there is rejection of lower prices, right? So this becomes this gives us better indication in a downtrend market. Now we'll move on to one chart. I'll just show it to you. So in this chart, if you see, in a downtrend market, when you got a hammer, from here what you see is that there is rejection of lower prices, right? In a downtrend market, there is rejection of lower prices. That means people are not accepting the low prices. From here, people have become bullish, and it will go upwards. Okay, so this is how you decode hammer, and it tells you that this is a bullish trend. Oh, sorry, this is not a bullish trend, but then there is bullish trend which is going to come. so you can go along with that. Okay, now we have shooting star, which is completely opposite to hammer, and you can see it is also inverted, and it can some even call it as inverted hammer. Now what happens in a candlestick is that you need to understand that what does the candlestick mean. You not actually need to by heart the name that okay, this will be shooting star. That is not necessary. Even I get confused with the names, but then what matters here is that what does the candle tell you. So even if you don't know the name, you just spot a candle, it tells you that there is rejection of higher prices because the price went upwards, but then it could not sustain at this level, right? So once it could not sustain it at this level, it means that the sellers actually pushed it downwards, right? So when there are more sellers than buyers, it tells you that this is a bearish trend, right? Because there are more sellers than buyers and the price is going to go downwards, right? So this tells us that this is a bullish trend, sorry, a bearish trend which is going to come. Now, this appears in an uptrend market. So in an uptrend market, if it is like this and you spot a shooting star or an inverted hammer, no, now you know that there is rejection of higher prices. That means in an uptrend market, it could not sustain high prices, and from here you can short sell, and the market can come downwards. Okay. Now I won't give false hopes that it will work every time. There are times when even after having a shooting star, the price may move upwards, but then you have to keep a stop loss, and this is what stop loss is actually meant for, right? It is meant for you to prevent from bigger losses, right? So do you have any doubts till here? Anyone, any doubts? You can unmute and ask me. No issues.
Yeah, I had one doubt. Suppose like if the shooting star, if it has a smaller tail over here.
Okay. So, what?
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. If so, is it like so? Like, will it work if it has a small tail even here,
So what happens here is that
even below the star
yeah.
or
So
the
yeah, even
the body?
below the lower shadow here has to be very small or negligible. So it is if there is no shadow, it is more preferred. But then you can have shadows sometimes. Uh, but then if it is having no shadows, then it is more preferable. Hello.
Hello,
Hello. Yeah. Am I audible?
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
Naman, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so is there any surety when matlab, if a shooting star is formed, the market will be bearish or not? It might or might not be, na?
No, see, everything has a probability here. Even when you are trading with Bollinger Bands, there is a probability that okay, there is eight times that it will go with you or it is in favor of you, and there are two times when it might not be in favor of you. That is why you keep a stop loss. Now, what I have noticed here till here is that there after a shooting star, what it actually is telling you is that the market is not accepting high prices, right? So once you know that the market is not accepting the high prices, that means it is going to go bearish, right? So if you just go back to some charts and if you just try to see, you will find that from here the market actually goes bearish. But then I'm just saying you that since you are taking a trade, you do not want to keep your risk unlimited, right? That is when what you can do here is you can keep a stop loss by keeping some buffer above the the high point of the shooting star, and the same goes with the hammer also. So if this is a hammer, and if you wish to take a trade here, let's say that you are taking a trade at the next candle, then what you can do is you can keep a stop loss by keeping some buffer here. So if you just keep a buffer of some distance and you keep a stop loss here, then it tells you that if this candle is fake or it does not work according to you, then you have your stop loss at here and you do not make unlimited risk or you do not make unlimited losses. Okay.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So next we'll move on to the same. So I'll just show it to you. So here, if you see that a shooting star is more, preferable in an uptrend market, because in an uptrend market, if there is a rejection of higher prices, it means that the market is not accepting this level, and from here the price may fall down, and accordingly you can take a trade that you can keep a stop loss by keeping some buffer here, and you can short sell the stock, and you'll see that it is going downwards. Okay. Next.
Over here, just a second, can you just go back a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, over here, there is one candlestick that is forming a, sorry, this one. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
this one, the second one. The second one.
Yeah.
So like, but still it is not going downwards. Like,
So
there is some resistance there.
so this is not a downtrend market, right? You can see that it is in a sideways direction here, right?
Okay.
You can already see that this is in a sideways direction, and that is why I'm telling you that it is more preferable when you see it in an uptrend market. So here what you see is that there is actually no price nearby this, so it tells you that okay, from here it is going downwards, and once you see that there is no price nearby to this candle, then it is in an uptrend market only, right? I hope the doubt
Okay.
is clear, right? Okay. Okay. So the next pattern here is called bullish engulfing. Now I'll explain you what is engulfing. To understand engulfing, I'll just tell you one more candle which is called a Marubozu. So what a Marubozu actually tells us is that there should be no or very negligible shadows here. That means very small or even no shadows. And if it has no shadows, it is more preferred here. Now what it actually tells us is that the price has had a a specific movement, and there were no highs and no lows. So the market was not confused at any point that whether this price is low or this price is high, but then there was a subtle movement, that is a green candle or a red candle. Now here the candle actually makes sense. So if this is a red candle, it means the price was actually pushed downwards. So this tells us this is a bearish sign. And if it is a green colored candle or a bullish candle, it tells us that price opened here and it went straight away till here, or it closed till here. There were no highs and there were no lows. So it tells us that there is no confusion in the market. Everyone in the market was very bullish. Okay, so this is a Marubozu which has no or very negligible top highs or lows. So the open will be equal to high, or open will be equal to low, and the closing will be equal to high or open. Okay, so okay. So what engulfing actually tells us in a literal meaning is that something is eating away the previous thing, right? So if let's say that this is a small animal and this is a big animal, then it tells us that this big animal is eating away the previous animal, or it is engulfing. It is swallowing the previous candle or the animal. Now, what it actually tells us is that this candle here actually told us that this is a bearish sign, but then once we spot a engulfing here, that means that this candle here actually eats away the prices, or the importance of the previous candle. So what it actually tells us is that this candle, the second candle here, so this is the second candle, so the second candle eats away the importance of first candle. So the importance of first candle is not valid now, and whatever the indication the second candle is giving us, we have to follow that. Okay, so this is what a bullish engulfing basically tells us. Now how will you determine whether it is bullish or bearish? So a bullish engulfing always occurs in a downtrend market. Now in a downtrend market, if you see that there is a green candle which is eating away the previous candle or candles, then it tells us that okay, this is a bullish engulfing, and it tells us that this is a bullish sign, and we can go long from here. Okay, so this is what a bullish engulfing tells us, that the second candle here eats away the first candle, or the importance of first candle is lost in place of second candle, right? So whatever the indication second candle is giving us, we need to follow that. And here it has to eat away the body So if this body of the candle is eaten away, or it is covered by the second candle, then it is called a bullish engulfing. Okay. And this is also seen, or this has more importance in a downturn market, because in a downturn market, if there is a candle which is very strong as compared to previous candle, and that too in a bullish sign or a bullish trend, then it tells us from here the market is changing, or the mood in the market is changing, and we can have more buyers as compared to sellers. Okay, so this is actually a reversal pattern, and whatever we discussed till here is actually reversal patterns. Okay. So do you have any doubt regarding engulfing?
Suppose like if we have a line here, will it matter? If we have a
Where?
shadow here,
Can you
I
please?
have drawn line.
Actually, I removed it. So once again. So that does not actually matter, but then it's all about preference here. So uh, if let's say that I'm taking a trade and I spot a candle like this, then what this actually tells me is that the body of the candle is already engulfed by the second candle. Now if there is no shadow here, then I'm more this is a bullish engulfing, even if it has a shadow, because the body is eaten away by the second candle, right? But then if it has a very long shadow, then so this candle also actually tells me that this is a bullish sign, right? Because there is rejection of lower prices. So even if the candle's
Mhm.
shadow is still here, even then I become a bit more conscious about my trade. But then it tells me that this is a bullish engulfing, because the body is covered by the second candle. And one more thing, that the second candle should the first candle should be covered by the body of the second candle. It should not be that I just draw. It should not be like this, that the shadow of the second candle is covering the first candle. So it has to be that the body is covering the first candle. Okay. So I hope this is clear, right? Shall we proceed?
Irrespective of what the shadow is upwards or downwards, but it should just engulf the body of the previous candle.
Yeah. No, but what matters here is that the second candle should be a strong candle, right? Because only if you spot a strong candle, you can say that from here the price is actually going to reverse. So this has to be a strong candle, and it cannot as I told you, it's about preference. So if I'm getting a strong candle, I'm more confident about this trade. But then similarly, if I get a candle like this, which has a very, very long wick, so it has a 4 or 5 time wick, so I cannot be very sure about this, right? Because the high prices are already getting rejected here, right?
From a strong candle, you mean like smaller shadows, right?
Yeah, smaller shadows. So that tell us that there is no indecision, or the mindset of the people is very strong here, either bullish or bearish.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Next we move on to okay, so I'll just tell you that uh, if you're taking a trade here, what you can do is you can preferably have a stop loss by keeping some buffer. So you can keep a stop loss here, or by keeping some stop loss here, and you can take a trade here. And most of the time what happens is that there is some distance, or the target is generally achieved because it has seen a huge selling here. So once it has a huge selling, and from here if the trend actually changes, it will go upwards. But then you won't always find that the stock is going upward like this. It will always go in a trend like this. Okay, so just don't get afraid when the stock comes like this. So this is a general pullback. It happens all the time because a stock cannot move upwards in a strong direction or a straight direction, right? Mm. Next, we have the bearish engulfing. Now, this is just the opposite of bullish engulfing, which tells us that there is a bearish candle which is engulfing the importance of the previous candle, right? So this candle here actually tells us that from here the price is actually this candle here eats away the previous candle. and even candles. So it eats away candles here. So 3 candles here. So this tells us that there is a very bearish momentum, and that is very strong, because the candle here can be seen that this is a bearish candle or a red candle, and this is very strong as compared to what the previous trend was. So in an uptrend market, if you spot a bearish engulfing, this tells us that from here the price is actually going to reject, or it is going to reverse back. So we can take a trade here, and we can have a stop loss just by keeping some buffer from the highest point and not the candle here. We can have we can just look at the highest point here. So this is the highest point. We can keep some buffer and we can set our stop loss here, and we can enter the trade. Okay, so is the bearish and bullish engulfing pattern here? Yeah, the engulfing patterns, all the patterns here, whatever we discussed, are more like applicable at all time intervals. But then, there are specific time intervals when you can witness uh, patterns like this, because these patterns are not formed every time. And in a 1 minute chart, it will be very difficult for you to spot a candle like this, right? Because in a 1 minute chart, it is not possible for the candle to form, this huge, and it is generally small candles. So you can go for 15-minute chart, hourly chart, or even 1 day chart. So in 1 day chart, and in a 1 day chart, if you spot such momentums, then you are more sure, because it tells you the movement in the whole day and not few minutes. And the longer time span you take, the more sure you are about the trade.
One more thing, what should be
Yeah.
our percentage? Suppose like if we enter here in the point that you have mentioned,
Yeah.
what should be our profit booking exit time?
So if you are doing intraday, you can have about the similar one, that is 2% or 1 to 2% or even 3%. So what you can do here is that you can keep a small, your target, that is 1 to 2%, and let's say that you are achieving your 1 to 2%. Then what you can actually do is you can trail your stop loss. That means your stop loss, which was previously here, what you can do is you can move your stop loss to this point. That means if the stock again tries to go back upwards, then you have your stop loss here, and you will still exit in profit. So this is called trailing of stop loss, which means you are actually reducing your stop loss amount. So if the stop loss was previously here, and you see that the price is actually meeting your target, right? So you keep a close watch, and once you see that it is actually meeting your target, you can have your stop loss like near to your target here. So you know that if the price goes downwards, then you have a good profit here. But then if it starts moving upwards, then your stop loss actually hits, and you still exit in profit. And it does not happen that the stock comes here and it hits your stop. Okay.
Like what is the stop loss percentage? Like you're saying profits are like 2-3%, but what about the stop loss percent? What should be our
So
percentage there?
I'll not say a fixed percentage here, because it might not be that if I say 2% or 4%, then it might not be that this covers this area, right? Because what my in price action, what happens is my indication, or I'm more concerned about the candlesticks, right? So the candlestick actually tell me that what is the price movement here. So if you just see here, this is a high point. So what it actually tells us that this is the point where it is getting rejected. So once we know that, okay, from here the price is actually getting rejected, so I can keep a stop loss at this position by keeping some buffer. So you just notice the high point, and by noticing the high point, you keep a stop loss, because percentages work very well when you are taking trades with indicators like that. But then in price action, it is solely dependent on price itself. So it is already based on price, and you cannot more be based on price, but then you see the movement in the market. Okay. How to select these stocks? So you can select such stocks. There is no filter that you can have to select a bullish pattern or a bearish pattern. But then you can have a uptrend and downtrend stocks, right? So if it is an uptrend and you spot a candle like this, you know that from here it is going to get reversed. So you keep a close track. Or it might be that when you're taking trades with Bollinger Bands, you spot a candle like this, and even the Bollinger Band confirms you, then you are more sure about it. So like honestly, there is no method to select that. Okay, uh, I'm going to get a candle here at this in this chart. So that is not possible. You have to like this is very obvious, or when you're tracking any stock, you will witness it. And once you witness it, that time, if you don't know such things, then if you don't know about the patterns, then you might not able to confirm that what is going on in the market. But then once you know the pattern, uh, after you apply for 1 week or 2 week, then you will start notice each and every pattern. Now even if you spot any candle which has a longer wick, you will start like translating it as that there is rejection of low prices. So it need not be that I'm telling all the patterns here, but then you will just spot the candle and you will translate its meaning here. Okay, so once you start watching it, then you will start translating it in your own sense that there are more buyers or there are more sellers. And it is always beneficial if you just look it at from this perspective. That means who are more buyers or sellers, then you become more clear about it. Yes, price action can be merged with other strategies also, and it can also be done solely. So if you are doing it solely, prefer one day chart, because in 1 day chart it is giving you more movement, or it is giving you the concise report of the whole day. And if you spot price action or such indicators with some other indicator, that means Bollinger Band or support and resistance. So we'll take one more session for you all for support and resistance. We'll schedule it after this only. So once you get it with support and resistance, then you are more sure about it.
Yeah, one thing. We will be entering here
uh,
or here. Which
so once you spot this, you can ideally you should wait for the next candle to form, and in the next candle you can take a trade. Because only you cannot determine before the candle closes that this is a bullish engulfing or not. It has to close first, right? It might be that it is coming down till here, but then it is going upwards and it is closing here, right? So this does not tell us that this is a bullish engulfing. So if you want a a clear picture of like what the indication is, then if you go to today's Nifty 50 chart and you turn it to 1 day chart, and you'll see that today the the previous candle was something like this, and today's candle was formed like this. Okay, so till 2 o'clock it was the candle was like this, but then while closing, what happened here is that it made a low here, but then it closed something like this. Like it was something like this. So what it tells you that you cannot enter any candle. So even if it is in Bollinger Band, you cannot enter unless you cannot confirm the trend unless the candle closes. So only once it closes, you can see that this is an engulfing or this is something else. So you have to wait for it to close. Okay. Next, we come to swing highs and swing lows. Now, swing highs, a swing basically tells us there's a direction. So, if you are seeing a direction like this is called a swing, or even a direction like this is called a swing. Now, swing highs and swing lows actually tell us that the high, if as I told you that the stock does not move in a straight direction, rather it goes like this. That means a retracement, and then again goes downwards, and again a bit retraced, and again it goes downwards. So whenever you see this, what it actually tells you is that if this is low, the next low is lower than the previous low, and the highs also are lower as compared to the previous highs. So lower highs and lower lows tells you this is a downtrend market, and higher highs, so higher highs and higher lows tells you this is an uptrend market, because the previous high is the next high is higher than the previous high, and similarly the low is the current low or the recent low is higher than the previous low, right? So this tells you this is an uptrend market. Now, I will show it to you once. So, in a in this chart, you can see that the lows here are higher than the previous low. right? So this tells you that this is an uptrend market. So just by spotting the lows, you can say that whether this stock is an uptrend or downtrend. And even the highs are higher than the previous high, right? So this tells you this is an uptrend market because both highs and lows are higher as compared to previous highs. And in a downtrend here, what you see is that the low here is higher as compared to the next high, next low, or the recent low is lower as compared to the previous low, and similar to high. So this high is higher, is lower as compared to the previous high. So this tells you that this is a downtrend market and this is an uptrend market. Okay. Now we come to trend lines. Now, trend line is a free form of support and resistance. So, if I just show it to you here, like how do we actually draw a trend line? Now, to draw a trend line or support and resistance, you need to confirm it with, or you need to attach more than 2 or 3 candles. So you cannot simply draw a trend line with one candle only, and you can say that this is a perfect one. But then the more number of candles are touching your trend line, the more confirmation you are getting. So if you just see at this point, I can draw a trend line which is touching to more candles here, right? So I can, this is a bit rough, but then once you draw, then you can, you try to touch more number of candles, and the more number of candles you are touching, the better indication it is giving you. Now you might have a doubt here that what to touch, the shadow or the body. Now bodies are more preferred, but then there are times when you are getting just the shadows, and shadows also work equally well. So you have to make sure that whatever you're touching, you are getting maximum number of touches there. And one more thing, that whenever you're trying to draw trend lines, uh, so the name actually tells us that this is trend line. It tells you that in which direction is the stock moving, or it tells you the trend of the stock, right? So whenever you're drawing a bearish trend line or a trend line which is showing you the stock is going downwards, then you always take the highs, because what highs actually tell us that from here the stock is actually getting pushed downwards, right? So whenever you're drawing a downward trend line, you always connect the highs or the tops of the candles, that is the swing highs. And whenever you're drawing a bullish trend line, so if a trend line is drawn like this, you always connect the lower parts. Okay, so whenever you are drawing a bullish trend line, you always connect the lows of the candles and you draw the trend line, and just the opposite in a bearish trend line. Now with trend lines also you can take trades. So if I show here, so if I draw a trend line like this, what it actually tells me is that from here the stock is actually getting rejected, or it is getting pushed downwards, right? So from here the stock is actually getting pushed downwards at this point also. And at this point also you see that this is a inverted hammer. So now at this point, since there was a bit uptrend and you see that there is rejection, you can combine both these and you can take a trade here, because it clearly tells us that this is a point where there is rejection, right? And if there is a huge rejection like this, it tells me that this is a bearish trend. So you can have your stop loss somewhere here by keeping a buffer. And like you in price action, generally you don't depend on percentage like when keeping stop loss, because you take the highs or the movement of price, that till where did the price move, and accordingly I'll set a stop loss here, and not based on what, like where you are entering. So if you just see, you can have your stop loss here and you can enter the trade. Like if you draw a trend line like this, then you see that I'm touching 2 candles here, like the top of 2 candles or the highs of 2 candles, and I see that from here also it is getting rejected. So I can take a trade here at this point. Okay. So is the trend line clear? So this is how you actually draw it. That means you connect the swing lows when you are drawing a bullish trend line, and you connect the swing highs when drawing a bearish trend line. Okay. So is it clear till here?
Yeah.
Like any doubts to anyone? Please ask.
I have a bit of doubt in the swing low and